Well, hello everyone. This is a session called MRTK and Oculus, creating a small game in less than an hour. My name is Ivana Tilka. I'm a Microsoft MVP for artificial intelligence. I am also a quality manager in the company 3XM Group. You have my social media on the screen. If you have any question about the session that you will see today, you also have my GitHub account in which I just uploaded the code that we are going to be seeing today. And I'm pretty sure that you are wondering, okay, what's the deal with creating a game in 1 hour? So no more to say. We will first see the game that we will create during this hour. So understanding, we are going to be using MRTK, which is the mixed reality toolkit developed by Microsoft that is going to help us with a lot of the coding that we are going to be creating, and the application that we are going to create with Unity and Visual Studio can be ported directly to Oculus Quest. In my case, I did it to Oculus Quest 1, but you can port it to Oculus Quest U or whatever is your choice. The same code that you will see today will work for HoloLens 2 in case you are wondering if it can work for that device. So let's begin and see the game. Okay, what you're seeing on the screen is the game that we are going to be creating. As you can see, I just made a small dungeon in which I put it a table with some things on top. And as you can see, I can grab a bomb with my hands and I can drop that bomb and okay, not that one, but we will have luck on the next one. Yeah, we drop a candle and we'll be able to drop some of the different elements that we have on the scene with some physics added to the ball. As you can see, the hand is the hand that is being tracked by Oculus, is directly my hand, so it's not going to be that hard to create this game. We will see how to use the libraries from Oculus in order to create that three-dimensional hand that we can see it's interacted with our game. There is something that you will see that is a wall. We have different elements, not only the tables and the candles, but also have a wall, a floor, and we will see why do we have that when we are interacting with Oculus. And the reason is because Oculus, as you know, is not an augmented reality device, is more like a virtual reality device. I just changed the ball from one hand to the other, and I'm throwing it into the can again. Perfect. So this is the game we are going to create. I would like to see some reactions on the Q&A chat. If there is someone listening and wants to tell what's the game, how does the game look for you guys? But let's begin to start understanding what we will be coding. So first of all, we have two main characters or two main items that we need to understand that are interacted with our game. First of all, we have our bomb, which is the sphere that we have in our hand that is being thrown from our hands to our environment and is hitting the different objects that we have. As you saw, the candles, as you saw, there were a couple of other elements on the tables. And we also saw that our bomb is interacting with our environment. So those are the main components that we need to understand and develop and code in our game. The other elements that we have that we need to consider when we're building for Oculus game is the environment. So we want to place our elements and our bomb and our wall in our environment. So the spatial awareness system in MRTK, which is the picture you can see on the left, so this system is used to bring real-world environment mesh data into the Unity scene. So this is useful for, as we mentioned earlier, for augmented reality devices such as HoloLens. where we can use the scanned world mesh for features such as physics and occlusion. But on virtual reality devices like Oculus, there is no scanned world mesh provided yet. So to support a mixed reality device that is cross-platforms, both AR and VR, there needs to be a virtual environment available for the VAM to hit the objects and the objects to be placed upon. So this is the game, as you can see on the right. This is the environment that we are going to be building instead of using the one that is being managed by the MRTK. Great. So to begin, we need to configure our project. And we need to create not only our elements, but our layers. Okay, so we use these layers through the Unity editor as a way to create groups of objects that share particular characteristics. So no more to say, let's go to our project. So what you're seeing in here is a project that I already have. I will explain what I have in here because the importing of the different packages that you are seeing in here, for example, Oculus and MRTK, takes a while. It doesn't take that much time, but at least 1 or 2 minutes it takes to import those packages, which is why I already have my project created. This is the same project that you will see on my GitHub account. And what we have in here is Unity 2019, Mixed Reality Toolkit 254, version 254. And I already have some packages from Oculus. So when you create a Unity project, what do you need to do in order to create our project? First of all, you need to prepare your platform. So Oculus works with the Android platform. So you need to select and switch to this platform. And the other thing you need to do is prepare for your project to include XR. In this case, as you can see, I only added the Oculus plugin provider. So you could add the Windows Mixed Reality in case you are one developer for Windows. And you also have Magic Leap and other devices and other R-Core that are supported with XR also. In our situation, in our example today, it's only Oculus. There are a lot of information of the other platforms, and the same project can be ported just by touching a couple of things, can be ported to other platforms, including mobile devices. But let's focus on our game, guys. Okay, so this is, we have Oculus imported in here. That's one of the things that we have. The other thing that you need to do in order to have your project working for Oculus is importing the Oculus integration package from the asset store. So this package will let you use the hands that you saw on the game. And Oculus integration. I want you guys to see it. Okay, let's scroll down. It's this one. So it's free. You just need to get a free account at the asset store from Unity, and then you can import. As you can see, I already have it imported. It's this one that you will see in here. So once you have this one installed, imported into your project, I will close this one. Check this out. By clicking the project configurator, you in here can tell your project if you want to use the controllers of the Oculus and your hands, or your hands only, or the controllers only. In this case, I used both because I wanted to see how the interaction was with the controllers. But that's why I selected two. But you can pick, if you only want the hands to be the controller, you can pick this one. Great. So the other thing that you need to import is the Mixed Reality Toolkit package. So I didn't have prepared this one, but let me grab one thing. So the Mixed Reality Toolkit, the Mixed Reality team launched this tool, which is a tool that you can download from Microsoft page. You can search it by Mixed Reality Theater Tool, in which it will download the package from the Mixed Reality straight to your Unity project. So you don't need to bother in understanding which package, understanding which one you need to install. So but just opening this tool, it's taking a little to refresh the packages because there are a lot, guys. But I want to show you guys this. I will put it in here until it loads. And we will, there it is. So as you can see in here, you need to, for example, select the package you want to install. This project that we are building today, the only package that is using is this one, which is the foundation. The base project, the base package we need to install in order to work with mixed reality. Then you have other packages like Azure Remote Rendering, Spatial Audio, different OpenXR platforms, and you can get the features and install it from here directly to your Unity project. But again, we are only focused on this game, so this is the one that I have installed, Mixed Reality Toolkit Foundation 254. So when I have that installed, that is going to install this folder. Then the following thing that I want to do, as you guys saw on our slide, we have our environment. So I don't need and I don't want to draw all these items in 3D. And for that, my dear Mr. Unity, have a lot of 3D elements that you can just import for free directly from the asset store. So which is why I always recommend you to have an account which is free on the asset store. And as you can see, there are a couple of these ones that you can already import. Oh, let me see if I can put this on a different, so we can see it on a little bit bigger. There we are. Okay, so as you can see, there are a lot that are paid, which are, of course, have a lot of more quality. This is done by different designers around the world that charge you by using their materials, but you also have the possibility to check on their free assets. And you have different assets in here. So this is the one that I just have installed, which is Low Poly Dungeon Lite. And you have a lot. I just searched for dungeon, but you will see that you can pick whatever you want, even Mario Bros, even Star Wars. There are a lot of free assets in here. So we have these ones in here. If you go to prefab, this is what you get. As you can see, and I hope you guys can see it because I think I can. Okay, there's a little bit larger. You can see all the 3D elements that I just downloaded. So now that I have these elements and I have a new scene, so I create a new scene straight from scratch, we will start creating on game. So in order to create our environment, first of all, we need to create our scene. This is our mixed reality scene. My suggestion is always not to touch these 3 items unless you know what you're going to be working with the mixed reality toolkit in here. Just for you to know, these are default profiles that are already configured for different devices. In case you are porting this to Leap Motion, you can select this one, OpenXR. In the case of Oculus, is XR SDK, the one that you need to select. And then there are a lot of configurations here that you can edit. They are disabled by default, but you can copy and customize the profile and change it. We don't need this right now. So you can edit your input, your spatial awareness, but we will leave it that way. And then we need to create our environment. So as you can see, I have in here something that says ground 01, ground 03, and I just will grab this one and let's start putting stuff in our environment. Okay, so as you see, I will see that from the top. This is a direct plane. In our game, I don't see it, and that's because it is when I drag anything to my scene, it is loaded straight in the middle of my camera. So in here, our floor is right beneath this camera. So what I will do in here, and let me try a little bit in here because this, oops. This is something that you need to try and test and see which one is your, oops. Today it's not playing around with me, guys. So let me move it a little bit. Okay, so you need to do it until you see, let's add other stuff so we can see how does it look. Okay, so I just added a group I already did. And you can see that I already see it on my scene. So let me double click it. And this is what we see. Let me understand how my camera is being put in here, because check this out. I have a small candle in here and a larger one in here. And in here, the larger one is in this side. So I'm seeing the other side of the camera. So my camera is in the other side. So I will move around and okay, then it was okay. But I will need to put this in front of my camera. So let's try to move this around, guys. Okay, perfect. You can see it in there. Then the other thing that I have in here, I already have it in here, is my environment. So if I drag and drop my environment in here, check this out. Let's say this is the one I already have created. So if I see this looks pretty similar to the game that you just saw. And this is because I created this example and dragged it in here and created a prefab. But let's say I want to add more walls. So I will go here and search for the walls, and I will add it in here. And as you can see, this is the wall. Let's turn it around. Okay, now you see it in here. It's a little bit bigger than the other one, so I will resize it until it fits a little better. Let me put it. And there we have our wall. And where is it in here? As you can see, it's much more closer than the one that we have. And just by doing that, we just added a wall in there. It's not the same side as the other one that I have, but I think you guys understand what I'm doing and how you can create your own environment as you wish. So in here, for example, we have a decoration. Let's drag and drop the decoration. And let's do it a little bit smaller. And let's put it because I want it to have like that. And I will move it to our back scene. And I will move it up. Okay, so we just put it a flag. Awesome. And so I just added that to my decoration, guys. So that's it for our environment. So we have the environment of our game. No, I will add this to, I won't add it. I will leave it that way. So the other environment that I have in here, the elements that I have in here, for you to know, they have nothing. So if I pick a wall, as you can see, they have no functions or scripts attached to them because they are not doing anything. But for our candles group, which is the one that we have on the table, we have some elements. First of all, we have the table, which is this one. I just grabbed it and put it in here. And then we have candles. And these elements have something that can interact with the bomb. So if you remember the video that we saw, we throw the bomb and the candles dropped from the table. So the same will happen with all the other components. In here I have, let me delete this one so we can see this one. Okay, so we have this one that is the bottles, and we have the candles, and we have these ones that are columns added to our scene. Okay, so this is exactly the scene that we had in our video. Okay, but before moving around, you guys saw that in our slide we have this one, which is the collision matrix. Okay, so why do we need a collision matrix? So using these systems is useful when we are building complex systems, or we want to add functionality like collision detection. In this case, we have a collision detection because we have the bomb that is going to collision with the objects. The bomb is going to collision with the object. So for that, in my project, I will go to here, and under project settings, I will go to tags and layers, and I will add two new tags. One is the objects and the other one is the bomb. And in the under physics, you will see that once you add those tags, they will appear in here. And you can pick if they are going to be colliding with the other object. So in this case, the object is going to collide with the bomb and the bomb with the spatial awareness, which is our environment. So when we drop the ball, instead of the ball going straight down and going through the floor and going down, down, down to the infinite, it will stay on the floor. So that's one of the benefits of using this. So in here, what I need to do is all these elements are going to be assigned under the layer spatial awareness, because this is my environment. And remember, guys, that in our slide, we said that our environment, let me go back, our environment, it was this one, right? So I will put that, and I will say, yes, assign and change all the children's to spatial awareness. And then we have these ones. In this case, I don't want the entire group to be at the objects tag, because the table is not part of the events that are the things that I want to drop. So the ones I want to be tagged are the elements that are on top of the table, which are, in this case, the bottle. As you can see, they are under objects tag. And in here, in case, these are the candles. And in this case, there are the columns. Great. So we will see, as I said, the different functionality that we will add to each one of the elements in order to collide with our bomb. But then, as you guys saw on the video, I had my bomb, I had my hands, and let's start coding, okay? So what do we need to do in order to create the bomb that is going to collide with everything? So before getting into the states, we will add a sphere. So we are in here, and I will add a 3D object that is a sphere. And this is going to be our bomb. Right now, our bomb is definitely quite big, so I will change its size to something that is a little bit smaller. It is still too big, so let's put it. Okay, that's a little bit smaller. It's still the size of the table, guys. Okay, that's a little bit smaller. Let's see up. I just move it because I want you guys to see it, but this is not necessary because this is going to be managed by code behind. So what do we have in here? So this sphere by default is added a mesh render, which is the materials and all the components that by default Unity adds. You can change it in case you want to make a cool bomb with a lot of effects. And then it has a sphere collider, okay? So let's go back to the slide. So we already have the sphere collider, which is a basic sphere-shaped collision primitive. And now we will add what I have listed on the left. We will add a rigid body component that will enable our bomb to act under the control of physics. So for you to know, the rigid body can receive forces to make your objects move in a realistic way. So any game object must contain a rigid body to be influenced by gravity. So right now we're talking about the bomb, but there are a couple of other elements on our scene that are also influenced by gravity. And we will see that in a moment. But in rigid body, we need to have, for the bomb, the is kinematic option enabled. Basically, the kinematic rigid bodies affect other objects, but they won't be affected by physics. So we don't want the ball to drop every time we throw that. We just want to control that by our code behind. But we do want the other elements like the candles to be dropped once they are hit by the physics. So we will see that how we will manage. And then we will add some other components, which are the overlap, the solver handler, which are part of the MRTK. So let's go here. And we said that we needed to add a rigid body. And what was that we needed? We needed to is kinematic enabled. And the other thing that we needed was the solver handler and the overlap. 1 second. There. So we need to add the overlap component because it provides a solver that overlaps with the tracked object. So this will automatically add also a solver handler. In my case, I added it first, but once you added an overlap, it will also add a solver handler by default. So for you to know, solvers are components that facilitate the means of calculating an object's position and orientation. So according to a predefined algorithm that you may have. So specifically, the solver handler class handles the solver components that are attached to our logo. And in here, for example, it says that our target type is going to be the head. And we actually want the controller array because that's going to give us the opportunity to be the handness, to track the handness, which is which one of the hands is grabbing the ball, okay? We will consume this value in our code behind. So let's see what do we need to code in order to grab because let's test this out. So if I press this, you will see a scene. My Unity is a little bit slow. If you have any question, guys, you can put it on the chat. As you can see, I have the tables. I can see my screen. I can move around my screen. I'm on my computer. I'm not on Oculus, but you can still do that. And our bomb is in there without moving. If I click the press bar, you will see my hand. And it's already grabbing it because of the overlap, because we indicated that the solver handler needed to track our hand with to each one of our hands in case we had. So right now I'm enabling by pressing the space bar on my keyboard. I'm enabling MRTK hand. But if I click on it, which is the event that is going to fire our bomb and drop the candles and the bottles, it's not working. And that's what we are going to be coding. Great. So for that, I created in here a script. As you can see, it's empty. This is the kind of script that creates Unity by default. It basically has a reference to system collection, to generic and Unity engine. It's a mono behavior, which is the type of behaviors that manages Unity, and it also codes the start functions and the update. We are not going to use that, so I'm going to delete that. And now, so what we need to do in order to start coding? First of all, we need to add reference to. Let's go here for you guys to understand. So first of all, we need to add reference to manipulate our bomb. Okay, and what were the items that we had in order to manipulate our bomb? We have a rigid body. I didn't add yet an audio source. I will do it at the end, but we have a rigid body. And let's go back in here. I want you guys to see it. We have a mesh renderer. We have also the solver handler and the overlap. Remember, the solver handler was the one that let us grab the ball when it detected a hand. So in order to reference, I will only work with the rigid body we are talking about the bomb. This script is going to be only applied to our bomb. So we need to grab the rigid body of the ball. Why is that? Because we need to control the physics of the body of the bomb from code behind. Then the mesh, because we want to control when it's appearing and when it's disappearing. And the solver handler, because we need to grab the information on which one is the hand that is managing the ball, or the left or the right. As you can see, this is not being detected, so I will reference the utilities solver, which is going to let us use the solver that we assign. Perfect. So now we need to add states of the bomb, and I will store it in a property. But which one are those states? So we are managing 3 states, which are this one. So let's not talk yet about the strength states. We are going to talk about the bomb state. So the bomb is going to be in 3 states. One, which is going to be free, which is not being, we can say that is once it's being created when we load our game. Then we have another one, which is source tracked. I name it source tracked, which is when the bomb is being tracked by a hand, right or left. And then when we throw the ball, we have the physics tracked, which is the bomb is a combination between free and physics. And for physics, remember, we are going to use our rigid body, okay? So these are the three states that we need to manage. So let's go here and let's code the three states. So I added in here, by default, we have our bomb state in free, which is what we said we just load when it's loading the game. Then we have our source track and we have our physics track. This is going to assign the state, and then we have a bomb state update. So I'm not going to code that function yet because before doing that, there are other states we need to consider, and those are the strength states. So the amount of force used in launching the bomb will be determined by timer that calculates how long the user has been holding the bomb. So, and it's going to be bounded by a max value. So if we press if we grab the bomb with our hand closed, it's going to be thrown more far away. If we don't grab it that much time, it's going to be thrown more closer to us. So those are the strength states that we are going to be using. But first of all, we need to create, I name it power, because first of all, we are giving power to our bomb with our hands. So and here, as you can see, I have it's giving power, and I have the power update, the power timer started in 0. So now that I have this one, I will create the strength states, the function actually that controls whether each component is enabled or not based on our state. So for that, we have this. So what are we seeing in here? If our bomb is in the state free, we disable everything, including the mesh render. So we are not seeing the bomb. That's it. Now, if the bomb is in source tracked, we only enable the overlap that will execute its update property and control the ball's position via tracking the hands. And if we throw the ball, then you remember that the state was physics tracked, then we will enable the rigid body so the ball is manipulated by the physics engine in Unity. So that's what we that's what we will control on this function, okay? Let's go back here and let's understand a little bit more. So when the user selects via closing their hand, this will result in what we call an input down event fired by MRTK. And when the users open their hand, this will result in an input up event fired by the MRTK. So we need to add the iMix Reality Input Handler interface that will allow the game object, the bomb in this case, to respond to input events populated by the MRTK. So I will go here and I will add my interface. Now this will tell me, of course, you need to add the reference to the toolkit input, because remember we are working with the input, and with this will also, I will let Visual Studio generate the on input up and on input down event that we will have it in here because we will use it at the end of the session. Great. So the iMix Reality Input Handler provides interface functions for the logo to respond to these input actions that we mentioned. So generally, MRTK only calls this interface if this game object is in focus. Now, for our bomb, we want to listen to all input events and filter or respond to only particular input sources. For example, the hand currently controlling the bomb. So in order to do this, we need our bomb to subscribe globally to all input events. So the script needs to register itself with the mixed reality input system via what we call the register handler or the input handler interface. So for that, we will code this event that will register the handler straight to the core services of the mixed reality toolkit. Perfect. Now, we need to add some Unity events for when we throw the bomb and when we get the bomb back. As you saw, in the video, I threw the bomb, dropped some candles, some bottles, and then I got the bomb back. So this will be useful for coordinating those actions in our editor. So I will just add two events. One is to throw the bomb, and the other one's get the bomb back. And we need to reference our Unity engine events. Great. Now, we need to define the logic in our script for when we have the input up or the input down event. But before this, we want to get the controller instance of our currently tracked hand and also the line pointer instance of that hand. And for that, we need to track which one is the controller that we are using. So remember, we are using our hands right now. And remember that our solver handler had the handness options attached to it. So what we are having in here is we're getting the controller, which one is the hand that we are using, and the pointer, which is attached to each one of our hands. Great. So before adding the logic that we have in here for the input up and the input up, there is something else we need to consider. So what happens when the input up event occurs? So the input up, remember, wait a second. So the input up event, there it goes, was when we open our hand. And what happened there? We throw the ball. Okay, so we have our closed hand, we were giving power to our ball. And when we throw the input up, then we need to throw the balls. And what happens when the input up event occurs? So we will create for that a function that can calculate what happens when I throw the bomb. And for that, I have this function. So what happens in here? I have the power in here. Every time I put serialized field is because I want the field to appear in Unity. You will see how. And I can modify it through my UI. Then I have a force amplifier. I calculate, sorry, my dog is barking. I can calculate the force. And then I will create a vector for that force, and I will throw the ball. So basically, I will set the current state of my ball, remember, is going to be physics track. So once I throw the bomb, now I will leave the game to control the bomb by physics. And I will add force to my rigid body. So my rigid body is being, is letting the ball drop because of physics. Of gravity, but it's also adding some force to it. And that's why we have this cool effect of actually throwing far away or more closer the bomb. And here we are just calling our Unity event. Perfect. So now let's add the logic to the event interface that we have in here. I'm going to delete these ones. And for the input up, remember which one was the input up? The input up was when we had our hand opened. Okay, so in here we are tracking the source. Okay, the source ID. We are checking if it is selected, and if we have the source tracked, then we throw the bomb, and if not, we get the bomb back. Okay, that's going to happen in on input up. Now, what happens on the input down? On the input down, if again we have our source ID, we have the select, but if it is source tracked, which is grabbed, we have grabbing the ball, we are giving power to our bomb. Okay, and this functions are the one that is going to help us with all the cool stuff that we saw on the game. But we need to add two more functions, which are when we initialize everything, which is the awake. So in here, I will initialize everything, the rigid body, the solver handler, and the mesh that are the ones that we are referring to grab our bomb from code behind. We are updating to our power to 0, and we are updating the state of our bomb. So we are starting straight from scratch every time we run our game. And then we have the update. So what happens with the update? The update function is actually the one that is happening every frame. You can control if it is up, if you want it to happen every frame or every 10 frames, depending on the game you're creating. But in this case, this is what it's being executed and being evaluated every time a scene happens, a frame happens. So in here, we are actually checking if our current state is free, then we assign the bomb to the hand. Okay, if our current state is actually grabbed by the hand and is given power, then we are actually giving the power and updating the throw visuals, okay, which is our velocity. And that's it, guys. That's all the magic that you need to do in order to work with your game. So in here, the magic happens with the bomb. That's the main. I will save this. Let me go to our Unity game. Okay, I have 15 minutes, guys, so I'll do this quickly. Great. So I have my sphere in here, and as you can see, I didn't touch anything. It's exactly the same. And we will add and drop the code that we just created in here. Okay, now we assign the code that we just did on Visual Studio. And in here, we have the references that we added, the headers that we added at the beginning. So which one is the rigid body that we want to control? The sphere one. Which one is the mesh that we want to control for appear or disappear? The one from the sphere. In this case, it's sphere, but actually it's bomb guy. I forgot to rename it. And which one is the solver handler that you want to grab the source ID of the controller? Is the one that is assigned to the sphere, this one. So these ones are the ones. And then we have, that's it for if we want to play our game. So let me check this. And I think we have everything for it to work. If not, I forgot anything. Great, I don't see the ball. The thing that you are seeing here in red is because this one is ported, this game is made for being ported to Oculus, and it's not detecting the camera, it's nothing but that. So I will press my spacebar and I have now my ball. Remember that when we launched it before, we had by default the ball with our hand, and it didn't disappear at any point. Since you didn't saw it in the beginning, it's because it was in the state free. Now, if I press my click, I'm grabbing the ball. I'm great, guys. So remember which one was the thing. So if I press and keep on having it pressed, let's try to drop something this time. And you throw it, awesome. Then you are throwing the things on the scenes. Now, remember that I told you guys that we needed, let's grab the one that we have with the bottles, that you needed to assign something to the objects that you want to drop. This object, the only thing that is being assigned is a rigid body, and I'm telling them that they need to be moved by gravity. And that's it. So every time something hits to them, they are on top of a table, they are going to drop and they're going to fall and hit the floor. And that's going to happen, as you can see, with the candles also. They only have a rigid body in using gravity, and that's it for everything, guys. Great. Okay. I see no questions, so I will keep on. So remember, we had our spatial awareness different than for working with HoloLens. In this situation, we created a virtual reality environment. And we also, in that virtual environment, everything has a collider, or in this case, I put it on the slide box collider, but it could be a sphere collider. It could be each one of the colliders that are available. Then we had also the table that actually is a game object that has a box collider. It has a rigid body in its kinematic. I put it a rigid body to the table, but it's not necessary. And also we have the different objects that the only thing that had are box collider or sphere collider, depending on the object. A rigid body, remember that is use gravity in enabled, but is kinematic in disabled. And I added also an object manipulator in case you want to grab those objects and put them back to the table. I didn't do it in there because the computer is a little bit different, but you just could drop and then grab the candle again and put it again on the table by the object manipulator's code. And quick recap. So the spatial awareness, remember that for Oculus is a VR scene. Remember that everything needs to have a collider, box collider, sphere collider. Remember you can take advantage, use physics by using the rigid body. The other thing, remember that the profile we used for Oculus was the default XR SDK configuration profile. And remember that we have imported the Oculus integration. We edit the project for hand tracking support. And when you publish this to Oculus, guys, the first time might not work. It used to happen, but yesterday when I coded this, it did work the first time. So don't worry about that. It's going to work exactly if you download it from my GitHub account. It's going to work. With that said, that's it for me. Thank you so much. You have my social media in there. You have the GitHub account. I uploaded the game a couple of minutes ago, and you can download it. I see no questions, so I'm assuming everyone understood everything. And okay, guys, it was amazing to share this one with you. And if you want to learn more, you can follow me on my social media. Thank you, guys.